The Detroit Lions offense seems to be thriving under Darrell Bevell, but under Jim Bob Cooter, at least towards the end of his tenure, that definitely was not the case, okay? And here's one stat that really backs that up, and it's very important for our offense, okay? So let's get right into the video. Right into the video, I'm going to be talking about this one stat that Darrell Bevell and the Detroit Lions offense do a lot better than they did with Jim Bob Cooter. Now, Jim Bob Cooter, I know a lot of people feel a lot of certain ways about Jim Bob Cooter. Now, I want to say this first and foremost. I'm not saying Jim Bob Cooter was a good offense coordinator. I'm not saying I wanted him here. I'm glad we got Darrell Bevell. It's pretty obvious I'm glad we got Darrell Bevell because they're playing a lot better. But I will give Darrell Bevell this. I didn't think he was in the best situation in his last year coaching with the Detroit Lions, okay? Now, in between that, he could have been better. But that last year coaching when we brought in Matt Patricia and Jim Bob Cooter was still here, didn't think he was in a great situation. Why? Because I think the Lions were trying to go to a new offense that Matt Patricia wanted, that Darrell Bevell runs now, and Jim Bob Cooter didn't do that. Jim Bob Cooter's like, wait a minute, this is not my offense, it's not what I do. And he's like, yeah, well, this is what we're going to be doing. And he was you already knew he had like kind of a foot out the door, right? You already knew that there was a really good chance that Matt Patricia was going to continue to bring in his coaches, his guys. So during that time, I thought it was kind of tough for Jim Bob Cooter, even though we struggled and it sucked. It was still kind of tough for Jim Bob Cooter because he was like, well, this is my offense, and you guys kind of want me to change it. It was already a foot out the door. We kind of knew something was about to happen after that season, so it was kind of ugly. But either way, we moved on from Jim Bob Cooter, and now we bring in Darrell Bevell. And one thing that the Detroit Lions are notorious for doing under other offensive coordinators before Darrell Bevell is having 3-and-outs, not sustaining drives, having drives end very quickly. Why? Because I don't know, because they couldn't find a way to get a first down. They would have 3-and-out on top of 3-and-out. They'd have multiple 3-and-outs in games. And basically a 3-and-out's not much better than a turnover. I mean, it's basically like throwing a long pick because you have it for 3 plays, obviously, hence 3-and-out. You have it 3 plays, you get less than 10 yards, so you're not moving the ball anywhere really. You're basically just throwing a deep pick right back to them. There's nothing there. You're not taking any time off of the clock. You're not really gaining anything for a 3-and-out. And yes, under Darrell Bevell, we continue to have 3-and-outs here and there, but the percentages are much, much better. If you look at the Lions right now, they rank 5th. Yes, 5th in the league in 3-and-out percentage, okay? Their 3-and-out percentage is around 20.8%. Now, that's really, really good. Now, compare this to the Chiefs, who rank number 1, which they're at 9.8%. So there's a huge difference. I mean, the Chiefs, they don't get 3-and-outs very often, and that's why their offense is so good. But look at some of the other teams on this list. You have the Chargers at 2, Saints at 3, 4 the Panthers. Don't know how the Panthers are on there, but hey, Kyle Allen. 6 the Texans, 7 the Rams, 8 the Colts, 9 the Ravens, 10 the Falcons. So a lot of good teams still come on this list. And it's very important, obviously, to not get 3-and-outs. And the Detroit Lions are way better at that than they were in the past. Now, believe it or not, last season when Jim Bob Cooter wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't good. They ranked 10th, but it was a 28.7 percentage rate, which at this time, it would not come in the top 10, okay? Because if you look at it right now, that don't have 3-and-outs, Falcons come in at number 10 with 25%. So if you're at 28% last season, in this season, it would have been worse than 10th. But either way, it's maybe not as bad as you would have thought. But in 2017, they were even worse at 34.7%. And if you look at the highest right now, the Bengals, who are the 5th highest, have 37%. So we were in that kind of category 2 years ago, and that's why the Lions found a lot of struggles, right? Not finishing drives is very important, right? But if you can't get the drive even started, that's even worse, because at least if you're not going to get points, at least if you're not going to finish in a touchdown, at least get 1 first down, man. Make the clock run a little bit, maybe change the field, something, flip the field, do something. But if you're just getting 3-and-outs at that high of a clip, I mean, think about that. 34.7% of the time you're having a 3-and-out. That's terrible. I mean, that is awful. Now it's about 20%, so 1 out of every 5 times, which it could be a lot better, but it's also really good if you compare it to the rest of the league. That's why they come in 5th. So that's one stat that Darrell Bevell, that I saw today, that Darrell Bevell really separates himself from some of our other offensive coordinators. His offense is looking really, really good. They seem to be clicking. Now, the running game definitely got going last game with Kerryon Johnson. I think a lot of that had to do with maybe the bad defense of the Chiefs, but no, nevertheless, it's still a really good sign to see it get going because it wasn't going at all, okay? If you want to say, well, it's just the Chiefs defense, well, it wasn't going at all. Like, there was no rushing attack up until that point. So the fact that it kind of blew up like that is very, very important. Kerryon Johnson, 125 rushing yards, had a really, really good day. Obviously, we're throwing the ball really well. We're giving Matthew Stafford chances. Biggest thing, trusting Matthew Stafford, letting him go play his own game. He threw 2 picks versus the Chargers, and then he went back to throw a game-winning touchdown to Kenny Galladay. Those are only his 2 picks of the season, though. 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, over 1,100 passing yards compared to last season, where his numbers... I didn't make the noise. I forgot to make the noise. Okay, I tried to make the noise that would have come out, so I was kind of sitting there going... You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyways, there's a big difference, though, in my eyes, of the Detroit Lions offense under Darrell Bevell and other offensive coordinators. And that's not me throwing Jim Bob Cooter on the bus. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know if it is. I'm not trying to. Either way, I'm just saying, good job, Darrell Bevell. Okay, I'm glad you're an offensive coordinator. But the offense has definitely looked a lot better this season, and they're going to continue to get better. Sunday's game versus the Kansas City Chiefs may have been their best offensive game up to this point in time of the season. Again, the Kansas City Chiefs don't have the best defense, but it was still a good performance. It's not like they're the worst defense in the league or anything. So they were able to throw the ball, they were able to run the ball, they were able to get pretty much everything going, and that shows when the Detroit Lions put up 30 points. Now, good job to our defense for getting us in good field position a lot of the time. But either way, as a team, we're playing pretty well, and offensively, there's a big difference right now with Darrell Bevell. So shout out to Darrell Bevell. I like what you're doing as an offensive coordinator, and that's just a stat that stuck out to me that I saw. So I wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys have any thoughts, leave them in the comments because I messed it up. If you guys have any thoughts, if you guys have any comments, leave them in the comments because that's where comments go. Thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.